Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of I Am Legion. My name is Jason, the creator of I Am Legion, Reborn for Dying Light 1 and 2. And today I'm continuing on another exciting update. So I had this idea over the holiday. First, Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope everybody had a very nice holiday. I hope everybody was able to relax and enjoy themselves. So I had an idea over the holiday, and I was thinking a little bit about the different creatures in the world, and I had this idea. Someone was asking me a long time ago if I could do something about the swamp zombies and the exploders, and had mentioned that they really just didn't like the exploders and how they were always just kind of exploding, and that was as complex as they got. And so I've been working on this most of the morning, and I decided to jump on the stream just because I'm going to create an entire new little ecosystem of zombies, and they're creepy. I really like them. And so I'm actually really excited to do my next playthrough with these new types of zombies instead of the stupid exploders. I've pretty much come up with an entire new class of zombie and infected that will reside in the swamps. And so I'm excited to share kind of where I'm at with it right now. So this will be coming out with 1.2, and I'm like I said, I'm pretty damn excited about it. I'm gonna go ahead and share on the Discord that I'm streaming. Hey, Verdi, welcome to the stream. So they have these different regions inside the map, and one of the hardest challenges going through the code is that it's been really difficult to kind of understand which areas are designated for which zombies. They have zones, and it was really kind of hard to understand when I first got started on really understanding what those zones were and trying to go through, and for Warframe specifically trying to go through and have this idea of like, okay, so what if you had bandits that had, different bandits took over different parts of the city, and you really wanted to kind of classify the different areas. And while I was searching through there, I really started to learn a lot more about the swamp code. And I have to say, I was kind of just blown away of how simple the swamp code was. And that led me back around to looking at the swamp zombie code. And I've always found them super annoying. I've always thought that they just really weren't very interesting. That you have these guys that they run at you, they explode, they blast you backwards, just really obnoxious. And then I also hate the fact that like you end the game and then it just starts to spawn those suckers out into the world. So it's like if you were already annoyed putting up with them to begin with, now all of a sudden you have to deal with them in post. And so I wanted to try to keep them in practice, but then I also wanted to see, okay, what if we took this concept a little bit further, because a lot of the DLCs that they've done so far really go around this idea of the hag and the swamp and muddy kind of environment. And I started to get this idea when I started working on the volatiles. So I'll go ahead and bring up a couple of pictures here. So this was when I was working on the volatile overhaul, and I started playing around with this idea of like, okay, what if you could create some new, really creepy, interesting volatiles? And so I actually made a couple of different volatiles. One is the chemical volatile, which basically is just puking up. He's vomiting and shooting chemicals everywhere, and he's super intense. He's probably one of the most powerful volatiles in the game now, and he's very fast. And then there's the venom volatile, which I'm actually, so that's what the poster actually was this venom variant, which is jet black, and he's really difficult to see at night. He moves fast, and the idea is that if he shoots you with his venom or whatever, I'm trying to create effects that you get hit with. So if he spits on you, you actually end up with visual effects, and so he'll mess with you. And then he's also supposed to be very fast. And so that was kind of the concept behind the venom volatile. And then I started playing around with these ideas of like these volatiles that were in the environment that were like coated in mud and slick, and so you weren't able to really see them very well. And I went ahead and threw those into the world, and I have enjoyed seeing those guys so far. So especially with these muddy ones, they're very difficult to see, and that was kind of the idea. So when I started looking at the swamp region, I started to think like, oh, what if you could make these creepy zombies that if you go into the woods, that during the day they're caked with mud, they're difficult to see, they're slowly creeping on you, some are running at you, that kind of thing. And so that started getting me down the thought of like, okay, so what if you had an entire ecosystem of zombies that were out in the wood areas that made those more interesting? So if you stray out into the woods, you're dealing with a different type of zombie. Even ones that, if they're coated with mud, could survive in the daylight. So now you can have virals in the daylight. You could have volatiles in the daylight. You could have these different variants of creatures that could actually be in those woods because it's A, using shade, and B, it's also if they've got mud all over them, then the sunlight's not able to hit them. Kind of a predator-esque kind of vibe. So that led me down this road, and I'm excited to show you guys kind of what I've been working on today. But I've got quite a few done so far, and I gotta say, I mean, I can't put in new models, as most of you know, but I can take the models that are already in the game and kind of manipulate them in a different way. And I really look forward to hearing your guys' feedback on this because I think they're creepy as hell. I like them. I like them more than the daytime or than the regular variants at this point because I've been messing with them so long. But I'll shut up and go ahead and just show you guys what I've been working with. Hey, gamer bra. Hey, servant. Welcome back. Thank you for joining the stream. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. And let me show you guys what I've been playing with here today. So we basically have a new class of creature called the swamp variant. So we're going to have swamp biters and swamp virals. And then here in a second, we're about to have swamp volatiles, which are extremely rare. But then also I have an idea for a swamp goon and potentially a swamp demolisher, but I'm still kind of building up to it. Hey, Effort Fighter, welcome back to the stream. And so let me show you guys kind of what it's looking like with these swamp variants. So let me finish up on some of the females here. So I've been kind of going one by one and adding them in and doing some texture replacers here. And it really does create a very interesting aesthetic on these creatures. But I'm starting with this. There's going to be a couple of different versions of them to where some are muddy, some are more green mossish, but then some are definitely more of the muddy base, so they're going to be more difficult to see. But I am excited to go in here and write some code to where each one has their own. It's going to come with the overhaul that I'm doing to the biters in general, where there's now going to be a blend of runners and walkers. So that you're not just getting one or the other. I know that's been something that people have been requesting for a while. And so we go through here, and I just have to do this a couple more times here. Yes, so gamer, these will be in the land of the drowners. And I put it out earlier, but then I actually pulled it back down. If anybody has a save game that they can send over that is based out of the drowner regions, that would be awesome so that I can balance these out a little bit. Because there's going to be, I would really like to get an ash variant in there as well. And I think the ash variant you'll find specifically more in the cities, while the mud and the more green ones will be out in the woodland area. Let's see. Verdi, all of that is through the config, so you can actually set any of those things how you want it. So you can actually set it to where, for example, if you want the config or if you want level 1 to be like the longest chase amount, then you can actually just go in there and set the amount that has to be achieved to reach tier two, you can actually just go in there and manipulate that and set that value as high as you want, and that will cause it from escalating. But that is definitely a personal preference. You know, I don't do the farming thing, and I don't use chases in that way. A lot of people do, and so that's the reason I made the config, so that you can do whatever you want. Yeah, gamer, if you've got one, that would be awesome. Just so that we can see what these guys look like within the actual context. So I'm actually at the far reaches of the map over near the radio station or the antenna area so that I can do some of my testing. And then I'm now actually just spawning them into the world because it's faster. But if you have any of those that you can share on the Discord, that would definitely be a great way to demo off some of this. And what I'm doing is I'm basically going to each one of the materials. I've made a little concoction of a replacer here, and I'm just going to each one of the materials and just doing a blanket replace for now. And then I'm going back to each one of the models and removing specific elements and kind of setting them up more how I want them after I've um, got their basic concept kind of pulled up so I can see if I like them or if I want to switch them out for a different one. But there's a couple of different, really cool. Uh, there's a couple of really cool um, models in here that really aren't used that often. That if you throw some of these new textures on, they just look pretty damn sick. I think so far the Banshee is no, that's not true. Probably the Bolter is actually my favorite with this change. He doesn't even look like the damn Bolter, in my opinion, after you do this modification. He just looks like a skull, which is also awesome. The zombies that are up on the rooftop should be joining. The difference is that they will. I don't think you're one of the. I don't think you're an ultimate player, are you, Verdi? I think you're actually a survivor player. And so they're less likely to climb and go scurrying after the player if you're in um, if you're in Survivor. But if you're in Ultimate, they should join the chase and actually jump down and all that good stuff. And Verdi, the reason that the chase has been shortened for number one is that number one essentially, or level one chases, pretty much only bring out virals. And so when I first started playing the vanilla game, you to this day you still can't change who joins into a chase. So they have that code restricted somewhere, which is really lame. But you can't actually modify who starts chasing the or who spawns during a chase. And so because of that, I basically shortened the first leg of the chase so that tier two takes longer, and that's when the volatiles actually start to come out and join in the chase. Just because the virals with the base mod are actually pretty common in the world as is, and so you don't actually need to be in a chase to actually end up fighting virals now. Um, hey, Black my THWU. Sorry I butchered your name there. I don't know how to say that. Um, but I'm not using the new tools just because I still care more about the base game than I do the add-ons, and so the tools that they released really only allow you to do add-ons. And so, for example, with this change, every modder out there who wants to create a map that uses the swamp creatures could actually make an entire swamp level using the work that I'm doing now. So, kind of the hope here is that people are able to go and enjoy their next playthrough through the game with more content rather than using the tools to make completely new maps. But you can use all of I Am Legion Reborn with your new maps as well. So, okay, Verdi, thanks for letting me know. I'll have to double check and see, but basically, I think it's a line of sight issue where most of them are using their line of sight sensors, and so if they're not joining, it's just because they're probably too high up. And then Gamer Bra, so I've actually got it open right here. You're going to go to where Steam is installed, and then it's going to be user data, and then it's your Steam ID, and then it's the game code is 534380. And then after you go in there, it's going to be remote out and then save. And if you want to save time and just search for it, it's save underscore main underscore 0 through like 4. Okay, so let's get these guys hooked up really quick so that we can test them out in the world and show you guys what I've been doing here. Let's see, we're going to go to biters. And for each one, I'm trying to create at least, so far I have 22 different variants of base level zombies. So that way, these will be the main guys that you encounter in the woods. And the difference here will be is that some will be runners and some will be walkers, um, which I'm excited to see what the runners look like because so far the walkers are actually pretty damn good. So let's see. That should be good. So then let's go to my spawner code. And right now I've got a mix, so we'll do half and half here. 4. I'll actually do more females so that way I can test them out as they're new. Let's go ahead and clear my data too. Oh, and then one last detail here before I launch in. Take a bit more of time here, but this really does make a huge difference. Did anybody end up traveling over the holiday or did everybody stay pretty local? There we go. And let's take a look here. So it's going from currently one type of zombie, filling up the entire swamp area. To by the time I'm finished, I've got about 32 zombies planned. If that tells you anything. So getting that area a little bit more diverse and interesting for sure. I'll just go ahead and spawn them in for now. I don't have them actually distributed into the swamp areas, and so that's going to be the next step. Is after I verify that I like each one of these, I'm going to actually take them out and get them set up in the actual swamp here. Hey Viscom, thanks for joining the stream. So currently, probably the biggest overhead with it is if you use the standard or ultimate edition, is that it increases the spawns by about 7 times the amount of spawns in the generic game, or the vanilla game rather. And so if you're really pushing your frames on the vanilla game, you can use the config that's included to go in there and reduce the number of spawns back to a more frame efficient level. And you may need to do that just because kind of depends on what your frame rate is. But if you're having to ask, then more than likely you have to care about your frames. This guy is definitely my favorite. Check this guy out. And I don't know if you guys can hear the audio here. Let me pop the audio up so you guys can hear what this sounds like. I freaking love it. Doesn't look like you guys are getting the audio. Give me 1 second here. I apologize. Let's see if that test. Let's see if we can get one of the female banshees out here. She's definitely my favorite. Dude, these virals are so damn annoying, man. Especially at just this one save game. I just don't have any blades so I could test the x-ray. But the current idea is that these guys will be a little bit more resistant to bladed weapons, and so you'll have to use more blunt weapons to kill these guys due to having more protection over their joints. There she is. Let's see if we can get her fucking sendable. virals. She's just kind of doing her little idle there. Let's see if we can get them to wake up. I swear, man. So I've grabbed a nice mix of suiciders and then different common zombies, along with some of the infected. And then with the texture change, they keep some of their emissive, which I freaking love. So some of that emissive comes through at night, and then during the daytime you can't actually see it. So this will make it more creepy when you're going through the woods at night. But the bolter and the banshee are pretty much just skeletons. They just pretty much have their skulls popping out. Let's see. So the problem is so the next thing I'll be making here for the inventory is actual light flares, so that you can get some flares out in the world. Because I can't actually show you, but it gives me kind of the vibes of the if you ever saw the like Marvel comics, like the undead heroes or superheroes kind of feel. They give me those kind of vibes, and I freaking love it, man. So this is what they'll look like as slow walkers, and then I'm gonna move over and start working on the Goon, so you guys can see what the idea for the Goon is. Let me turn this audio back down, because I know that's probably super loud on the stream here. And Gamer, if you could just PM me the link, I'll actually just use it there. So that's what I got so far, guys. What are your guys' thoughts? What's your feedback so far? I mean, I know for the most part, I mean, they're just slimy looking covered zombies, but super excited to start pairing off some of the logic here with runners and walkers, and some of the special infected out in those forests and wood, to make it a little bit more interesting in the game as far as the swamp goes. Basically, we'll have our Gamer. What's your Discord? I'll PM you. It shouldn't be off. Lord knows people have been sending me stuff for a while. If you click on my name, if you go to the main announcement channel and you right click it, oh, I guess you can't. Huh. Uh, I mean, depending on how comfortable you are with it, you can also just drop it into any channel on the Discord, the feedback channel, or the ongoing development channel. And I'll be happy to just pull it off of there. Let me see if I can just find you real quick. Are you a part of the Discord channel, Gamer? I don't actually see you on here. Yeah, it's because we don't share a server, so it's saying something about you're not part of the Discord channel. Not sure why that is, but it won't let me message you either. Okay, so really quickly, I'm gonna make a couple of large biters here. So we're gonna go in here and grab the we'll do like two of these to start with. Oh, and also, so I don't know if you guys saw on my bug report, but I actually found out in the game um, that apparently some of the issues we've been running into, or that other people have been running into, that they're trying to install other mods that have models, is that I have apparently hit the model ceiling for number of models that I can have in the actual mod, or that I can add with the mod. Um, if you add over, it's like 1,322 models so far that I've added with the mod. Pretty great, pretty awesome. Um, but apparently, if you hit that number and then it adds in the number that are currently in the game, which I'm guessing is somewhere around 688, I'm guessing, and so if you add those on, I'm guessing the top number or the max number that you can have in the models folder for whatever reason, without the engine freaking out, is around 2,000 models total, and that's including the base game models. And so if you add over that number, like if you go one over that number, it breaks the game. And so I'm gonna have to crazy as crazy as it is, I'm gonna have to get selective about my 1,322 zombies, just because, not just zombies, because I also wanted to do. Um, I also have PK, I have renegades, I have new classes of bandits I'm trying to do, and so I have to squeeze them all into under 1322. And the worst part is that if they update the server, or if they update the game with models of any kind, I'm guessing I will have to continuously pull my models out to get the mod to where it continues to work. So I kind of hate that I found that limitation, but yeah. All right, unknown. Thanks, or gamer bro. Thanks for sending me that. I just saw it come through, so I appreciate that. Going to add another server or another folder here, and we're going to go in here and say mail large. Them in here. Have they really? Verdi, I'm responding to your comment there. You're saying that they've mentioned the model problem. They've mentioned that on like one of their streams or something? Interesting. Well, it was a strange one to find out, because I actually had someone post because they were having their model. Essentially, your model is not able to be loaded into the game at that point, and so anytime you load the game past that number, it basically won't load models. And so if you join the game, you'll actually blast into space because you can't actually have any models at that point. Um, and so maybe they'll patch that in the future, because if one thing has kind of shown itself to be true with this engine, is that you can definitely just continue to make models, as many as you want, kind of thing. So hopefully they'll patch that out. Interesting. I seriously doubt they're gonna remake the game with a different engine at this point. But I mean, if we're gonna go down that road again, if they could make some improvements before I have to redo my overhaul for the first game, I mean, I wouldn't mind that they go ahead and bring the first game back in to this engine. I would be just fine with that. So what I'm going through and doing right now is creating a variant of three large models. So I'm taking the ones that I've already created through the mod, and I am just kind of updating some of their visuals so that we have some larger models inside the world, so that it's not just the smaller ones. Through here and say like this. And so what I'm trying to go for here is I like a very diverse population, especially now that I've added some of these models that glow and have different details on them. So because of that, I don't like to leave it to where they're all looking the exact same. I like to have a good amount of variety there so that when you're looking over the crowd, you see just so like different scale, different visuals. I love that. Makes the world feel more alive. And so I was just adding some larger zombies here. And so we're going to add these to the list as well. So for every one that I spawn, so right now I'm spawning 3 females and 3 males with every beacon I throw out, and then it'll also spawn one extra large swamp male. And so really quickly, actually I'm going to double down on this really quick. I'm going to go and replace all the females, and that way I do all all males and all extra large males. There's only 3 of them, so this pretty much guarantees that every single time it will spawn one of these extra large males, and so that way I can go check them out really quick and make sure that they look correct. Because that's one of the biggest things that, once you have 1,000 of these suckers, 1,322 to be exact, it becomes a pain in the ass when you have one of them that's invisible and you have to spend your entire weekend going line by line trying to find the zombie that is causing the game to have an invisible zombie. So I have to do lots of testing at this stage. PK flares? What do you mean by that, gamer? And actually, while that's loading, that gives me a thought I want to go check. Flare. The nice thing about this is that when I set this up with spawning, I don't have to worry about dying. I can also go check to see what they look like at night and then what they look like during the day. It's interesting. Did I forget their throws on this run? I don't think I did.
What they're really up to is way more sinister. You see, they plan to release a chemical into old Villador. It's a stimulant that fighters
Oh, the reinforcement flares. Yeah, so they're added to the commanders, and what I've done is I fixed some of the code where previously I had this issue in the code where it was actually being used too often, and so that's why they would often throw flare after flare after flare. And so I've upgraded some of that, and they now use it a little less commonly. But they really do use it a lot less now, and so I'm gonna have to go in there and make it more about tactics and that kind of thing, so that they still use it, but they use it because of certain key things. Yeah, this is the one I was talking about that looks like a skeleton. He's definitely my favorite. I wish I could actually get the lump off of his back so that you only saw. Like, I wish I could just get his head, but they didn't make a version of him. So there's a couple of things left with these taller ones. I think I need to, especially that one right there. He's got an arm that's messed up, so let's go fix him really quick. So Verdi, these are actually going to be completely new guys, so they're not exploding anymore. So I'm going to mix in the explosive guys into the population, but a majority of the population will be this new type of zombie, and so the suicider variant will be very rare. Maybe not very rare, but less common is a better way to put that. Because the explosive zombies are in my opinion. And again, if anybody feels strongly against that, please let me know. But I personally am not a huge fan of these exploders. That's kind of the whole point here. You're talking about the ones with the bulbous pustules and everything, the chemical pus. Hey, Veer, how's it going? So the actual ones that explode will still be in there, so you'll get a mix, and they'll be less. You'll have different visual variants. So some will be covered with mud, some will be covered with slime, some will be, their regular bloody selves kind of thing. And so it will be. You'll have to actually pay attention to which is which kind of thing. 106. Okay. So that should fix the males. So we should now have. That should bring us up to. Got here. We should now have 10, 15. So we have 25 new infected for the swamps. And then we're going to say infected. And we're going to bring a couple of these guys over really quick. So what I'm going to do is go to models. And then actually think I'm gonna do this with some of mine as well because previously, so we have like the one goon and then we have the three variations of that one goon. I'm gonna actually start with my different goons, and we're just gonna essentially get rid of some of the specific ones. So the ones actually that have this man zombie torso F. Torso F. Well, I know one does. Come on. Maybe it's not torso F. Oh, there it is. Last one. Okay. Task view. Later, Verdi. What you mean, Veer? See, so on these, we're gonna go in and actually set these up. I'm gonna narrow it down to where it's gonna actually be the ones that look like, and I think I'm gonna get rid of the suiciders as well, so they're not gonna be in here. It's gonna be specifically, yeah, not the bandits either. So I think that's gonna really just get us down to yeah, because a lot of these have the armor elements and stuff like that. I actually want to make it more about the, um, yeah, so this is going to be one of them, but we're going to strip off the actual armor elements. This. And then I don't know if this is going to work, but I had an idea to do this earlier, and we're going to see if we can get it working. Um, but essentially, what I want to do here is instead of their goon weapon, I want to see if I can find a log or a tree trunk that we can use and actually put that in his hand. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but let's say log nature. That's going to have, so if we go in here and say, that has logo. So if we go in here like this, environment, nature, log, medium. And so essentially, I think what I'm going to do is probably, it's going to be pain to find the actual textures, and that's always the problem with this is that I don't have the actual, um, I don't have the references to the actual textures that each one of these are using. So you're kind of at the mercy of what you can find in the files themselves. So let's say search and see if I can find any reference to this anywhere else. And what I'm working on right now, Gamer, is that for the reinforcement flares, those are going to be a part of the quest reward system. And so for each one, for like the PK, for like the early ones, you'll get like generic reinforcements kind of thing with a percentage chance that they won't show up. And as you get the better and better ones, you get a higher percent chance that they'll show up. And then for the last tier, it's going to be the PK Commandos. And basically, I'm going to set it up to where there's the concept of other runners in the world. And those will take the place of the companions for now until I finish out the companion code. But essentially, these guys will show up and fight with you inside that environment. So I'm going to write an entirely new, instead of spawning world NPCs, I'm going to actually create uh, custom ones, custom AI that will work with you to try to fight whatever you're fighting. If I can find some nature textures, then potentially. Oh, I have an idea. Okay, so in here, I have my Dying Light 2 work platform. It's in here. It's got to be in here. So if we go in here, this, and then we say Nate. Yes. Check this out. I learned about this the other day and it makes me so happy. So you can actually just go in here and say diff, and then we'll go in here and say DDS or PNG. Yes. And here's all of our different textures, which it's one of those things where like technically I don't even have to use their materials. It would be nice if I could use their materials. But because they don't have references to their materials, um, I can just I can give it a new texture. So I can assign it whatever material I want and then assign it whatever texture that I want. And provided the UV is somewhat accurate, then we'll end up with a accurate texture. So in this case, that's a stone. We probably want to stay away from things that are heavily UV'd. So we can just use like this. And then once you have the actual texture, then you can search the actual name. And then we're going to change the view back to details. And there's my entire material. So I'm going to actually create a material for this. And I can actually just use the original Goon material, just cuz. And what we'll do here is I'll go in here and create a new one. So I'll actually use some of this because that's essentially what I'm doing right here. We'll go in here and go to that weapon, and then we just give it these values. As well. Yeah. It could have saved me a lot of time if they just gave me the references to the materials, but and it looks like there's an A and a B. All of these should be A. Okay. So that should spawn a goon with, well, that will spawn this model with that attached. So now what we'll do is we'll go over here to, and I'll start with 5, and we'll go grab this material again, and I'll apply this down to the different pieces of him here. That. And then I think I'm probably definitely going to get rid of some of this to where it is just going to be him. He's going to look kind of like a Skyrim a Spriggan, I think is the term. So then this will become our number 1. And what we'll do here is go over to our presets, logic, human AI, infected special. Down here to the bottom. Section. Goon. And here's my little failed attempt at doing the infected goons. And I know what I did wrong there. I got to go and clean him out of the project. But essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to go steal one of these guys, like this guy, all the way down here to the bottom. We're going to call him Goon Swamp. It's going to be based off of the Goon. We're going to remove this. We're going to give him damage resistance. I actually made some new ones this morning. Go damage, and let's type in Goon. Yeah, so I was trying to fix the stupid drowning in the game. I was trying to update it so that it would no longer they would no longer immediately drown. And it turns out that I actually discovered that they have not actually hooked up the concept of drowning for the AI yet. And so the issue is that they currently have the water is an immediate trigger. If they go under the water, it's immediate kill command for all AI, humans, zombies, whatever. And so there's literally nothing I can do about it. It was pretty annoying, but they essentially made that to where, let's see, we're going to pull this back out to here. And then in here, this needs to be swamp. There we go. Then in here, be swamp. That. That. And then we go over here to spiders. We're going to take this. And then we don't need to do this, I don't think. That. And for the loot, we probably need to go grab he doesn't have a loot field. Well, good to know. So he's going to need his own loot string. For now, we're going to base him off of Goon. And then for the size, we're actually going to scale him down. Well, should we do down or up? Let's actually do like that. And then we should be able to go back to my prefab, which I should be able to just easily navigate to these, but I can't anymore because I have so many of them. But let's go ahead and switch this to Goon Swamp. We'll actually go ahead and just do 2 of them, so it's easier to test and make sure that's working. I'm going to clear this out. Tell you what, if I could bring back the fireman goons from the first one, I would. But they did not do any firemen in this new one.
I'm here.
Huh. Yeah, I wanted to jump back in and continue down the pipeline with the reinforcement flares and everything else that I wanted to write. But I had this idea over the break, and I just really wanted to see if I could make this happen. I've been pretty excited to see it come together so quick today because that swamp area is just so basic.
Aiden, finally. Been trying to reach you. You gotta help. They're gonna attack old Villador. And when they do, nobody there will survive. Nobody.
It's using the so I need to go on the
They hold
actual.
violent prize fights here in the city. But that's just a cover.
I
What
need to
they're
go on
really
the
up to is way
actual
more sinister.
weapons, allotted
They plan to
weapons.
release a chemical into old Villador.
All right. Plus, I don't know if I really like him as a model, but we're gonna keep looking at the weapons. So on the weapon set, he's gonna have to get a specific weapon set, and that could be where the problem is. Well, actually, maybe that will be easier. It's gonna end up being like a weapon. If there is a tree that actually could do it. I don't know if there's an actual tree that could do this, but what if we go into, so it's under inventory infected, and we have the Goon weapon, and essentially here, down to the bottom. I don't know if I can create an actual. Yeah, because they have that, but let's go down here to the bottom and let's go to Gen and grab a two-handed. So what is that going to be? So for his, they never gave it, but let's say if we find another note. So annoying. Okay. Let's say weapon definitions. Grab this two-handed A here. I think I have to grab this whole thing. I'm probably gonna have to do this to pull this off. So then here we're gonna go and say that, and then underneath here we'll go down and say Goon log. And then this is considered an axe. And then basically to test, we're going to have to give him a very specific one. But let's see here. If we go back under mesh, it's going to be this medium log. And let's just go here and say mesh and change this and this. And I can't remember if whether or not they have a very specific, the problem with this is that they may have a very specific rotation set for the Goon for the mount point. So I don't know whether or not this is going to work. If not, that's okay. I'll switch back quickly to working on getting the volatile, the daytime volatile, and some of the other ideas added there. But we'll come back to the Goon if we have to. But I was really hoping to be able to add this. So what we'll do is be able to test here. I'll be able to spawn it as well. that. Like spawn it. This it's like color. Color will be orange, so I see it. And whatever that icon is, it'll show up in there. And then for the actual Goon, let's go back to our infected special. Here we need to say weapon set. Name. Here, say weapon set, and then under weapon sets, which is down here, say Goon. It's going backwards. No. Oh, I think, yeah, we do. We're going to call this Swamp Goon. And then to save time, we can go to our stash. We'll grab that. And then here under infected, we'll give him the specific weapon set. And let's just see what that does. So I think probably the biggest problem here, or maybe it's not going to be a problem, is that I'm not able to designate a material for the tree, but that actually might be a good thing because that means it's going to use the one that's built into the mesh with all the mesh identities, which is actually a better thing than what I had previously. So even if I can't give him a specific material, this should actually be pretty good. Go ahead and test this guy out. And this will also be a pretty good thing because if it's using it as a weapon, then we can quickly create a couple of different ones if we wanted to, but then also you can just plug and play different meshes and find out which one works. Be the fastest way to do this. I do drink coffee very often. Hey T-Man, welcome to the stream. Are you a big coffee guy, Veer? Oh. Oh, that broke the whole inventory, so that didn't work. Okay, so to go back to inventory. And it's probably because I did it this way, which is actually a definition. So the way I would actually do this is my fault. So instead of doing it this way, it's this. So what I needed to do was actually go here and search for what's bringing this in. And then I needed to actually go this direction with it. I'm not sure if it's setting the mesh on this side or not. Let me look and see if we have any dot meshes. Well, we know the shotguns are, but those aren't a great example. Okay, so yeah, so what we can actually do here, no, that's a firearm. Is it just the firearms that are doing this though? So we'll go under here and we'll paste this. We're now using this weapon, and down under here, let's search for mesh again. We'll grab these three, and then we'll throw this down like this. Then let's go back to mesh. Here, I think. Grab this mesh. That. And so that needs to get rid of that. And then we need to pull in a color really quick. So let's say gen, go back up. This, let's say color here. We'll say orange, like that. And we'll go ahead and give this a rank of like 7, so it'll be easier to see. And that should be it. Okay, so let's try that again. Veer T-Man, how was your holiday? Same to anybody else who's joined. Good. Yeah, we ended up doing quite a few Christmases this year with a lot of family to go see. Okay, still broken. Okay, well, either it is how it is being applied to the infected, or it's because of the way I've added it. Oh, it's probably, yeah. Hang on. What am I doing here? I've got that as a sub, so that would be why. And then this needs to be weapon, goon, swamp. Okay, that would definitely be why. So that's added there, and then let's add this to weapon sets like that. Yeah, that would definitely do it. Let's see. Absolutely, I feel that. It's one of those deals where by the time you're done with Christmas, you're like, I can't eat anything ever again till my body resets. uh, really done. All right, let's try this again. Yeah, if the infected don't work out, then what I'll do is I'll do like kind of a tiered approach of where I'll start putting the at least get the biters out into that environment so that you have less exploders, and then it still didn't like that. So, for whatever reason, actually, I guess what we could do is I could try going to the logs really quick and see if it's actually going to tell me why it doesn't like that weapon. So, it just doesn't like that weapon in general. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back on the Goon for a little bit here. So let's get rid of this. Get rid of... So that should have been it. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on the actual spawn here. And then I can test the save that was sent over so that we can actually start testing that out. But what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our AI preset pools. And well, before I do that, let me clean up a little bit here now that I have 10,000 different files open. Close to the right, no to all. Okay. And then I'm going to open that back up. Probably same on this side. Damage definitions open. No, I have it on this other side. Close to the right. Clean that up a little bit. And let's go back to our biters first. So we have 5 new type of biters. These are not currently including their different run styles, so we're going to have to factor those in. But first, before we replace this, we need to first understand what we're replacing. And so I was thinking about this the other day, and this is going to be incredibly painful, and so I'm not looking forward to it at all. But I think I'm going to have to go back and go group by group, and I was thinking a little bit more about the spawn issues where I've been trying to spawn in specific types of enemies for a while, and they've not really worked very well using their spawn code. And I'm starting to think that some of that is actually from maybe where they originally meant to balance these percentages at the end. I mean, since I have started looking at this, they have been wrong. Berserker and stuff like that have been this like 225, which whatever the hell that is on the scale. But I was thinking about this the other day, and I think I'm going to go through here on each one of these suckers, and it's going to take forever. But I think I'm going to try to balance all of these to where these equal 100%, and then put that back out so that we can attach some of that to the config and start messing around with percentages a little bit more, and be able to make that easier for people to balance to their own preferences. Because currently the problem is that a lot of these don't even show up, kind of thing. They're just not getting accounted for. Give me 1 second, guys. I need to step away for a second. Be right back. Hey guys, sorry, I'm back. All right. So what we're gonna do is go through, and what they're doing is they've only created the context of the suicide flooded area um, character, and when they've gone through and set this up to the different flooded zones, these are the ones that don't actually make a lot of sense. And I'm glad that you provided, Gamer Bra, you provided the save game, because I need to be able to start testing these zones and how they've set them up, because a lot of these are not actually in use. And so it's kind of hard to determine which ones are being utilized and which ones are not. So to kick this off, let's go over to our um, download section really quick and grab this new save. And I think this is the one I grabbed earlier. Is it? Nope. So my save one needs to go into this backup. And I guess technically this could become save 0. It doesn't have to be. Okay. So what we're going to do is jump in really quick and take a look at where the save game is. Still occasionally get those every once in a while where you hit launch and it just kind of never takes off. I thought it was funny with this latest update that they put in all of the like snow backgrounds and Christmas lights and all that, and then they didn't actually change anything in the environment. Um, I even thought about a way that I could change all the trees to Christmas trees and stuff like that. I still may. It's a lot of extra work to go in there and try to do like holiday specific events, but I actually can't believe it, because you can actually very easily change the world into snow. It's not great, um, and I don't know if it still works, but it was definitely something that you could pull off through the engine at like very early on. And so for maybe this next update, we'll just go ahead and throw out. I guess I could do an optional and just have like a Christmas celebration mode, or holiday version that people can play with, because I couldn't believe that all their backgrounds had snow and then they didn't actually add any change textures. It's as simple as a texture replacement for a lot of those. Yesterday, I made it get out of patrol duty. Um, like you're. Oh, interesting. Did I not drag it in? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't drag in the fix there. Let me go back to here. And then we'll get rid of that. Say discard. That would also do it. Yeah, I bet that was it. So let's go in here, hit delete. It's about to say flashlight doesn't work. So as far as this goes, gamer, are you still on the line? It was your save game that you tossed me. or maybe somebody else can answer. What's the fastest route from the tower there into um, flooded the flooded city? For this fix the inventory. Yeah. Then not sure if you're playing. Doesn't look like you're using the glider, so I'm guessing you're using the glider restore. So using your save, what's the fastest way to get into the Lost Lands or the um, flooded world?
Hey, you. Want to be sent back to the Outlands? Keep that biomarker in plain view. Anytime soon. Quit your worrying.
Let's say it's quite the run there. I think my other save game's a little closer, so I think I'm gonna actually switch back. But I don't think I've got it all unlocked, so actually, so one of the save games is like one of the save games is like 400 and some hours. Let me grab their save game really quick. I can just use theirs. Let's see. I think it's 0 and 4. But that is the one I thought was actually going to place here. See if this is. Yeah, that one. I was sitting there going, like, do you know of another way in that I don't know of? Because that was a little bit of a run there. And then I had one that it would load perfectly into the Sunken City. Um, but then when I've gone back and tried to find that one again, I haven't been able to find it. one's also way up. It's funny. I don't know if I've actually ever noticed that you can zoom that far out. Yeah, and now I've actually wiped. I just had my progress set up to where I could easily get over there. But does anybody else have a save that's actually in the sunken city? Let's see. If his has that one set up. Gonna have to wait to deploy these guys until I have a save game. That was the one from what's his name? Ulterus. What is this one? But while I'm testing this, let me set this up really quick. So, um, down to UV flare. It's the one but I guess this one's pretty close. Let me check his save game. Um, let's see. UV safe white flare. Checked off, but you can't fast travel. Might have to wait until I'm back at that one quest. I swear someone sent me. Let me look this up really quick because I swear somebody sent me a save game. Save main. I swear it was later than that, but maybe somebody dropped it in the actual channel somewhere. Someone cannot be found. It's definitely in here. Searching very good, I guess. Press the search anymore. It's literally not finding anything at all. What's Fen? Here and definitely not this one. Hey, welcome to the stream. Merry Christmas. Let's see. Um,
Aiden, finally,
So it's definitely not this one. So I really don't know if it's worth running all the way over there.
They're going to attack old Villador. And when they do, nobody there will survive. Nobody. This group, they host violent prize fights here in the city. But that's just a cover. What they're really up to is way more sinister. You see, they plan to release a chemical into old Villador. It's a stimulant their fighters already use. Turns them into fearless, merciless motherfuckers. But it would kill regular folks. There's only one way to stop them, and that's to infiltrate them.
Need
Qualify
to
for the tournament and get your ass inside Carnage Hall.
really upgrade some of my development tools even a little bit further. I'm having to do this one. Yeah, exactly. I decided to just run it.
And still no invitation to Carnage Hall.
See, the sad thing is that as far as I'm aware, these areas do not have a specific zone designation, and so it would be really nice to be able to go in here and actually figure out a way. Clean up that grass there. Or grass they have spawning on those. Definitely getting scaled too big there. But it would be nice to go in here and actually have the map editor and that kind of thing to be able to add the very specific region information here. Those guys. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, and this is so damn risky, but we're gonna die. And I don't want to, but we're going to. Swear to God, if it respawns me all the way back to the city. No. Okay. So then what this does for us, I found this the other day and I've been using it to better identify the areas of the city. If we go in here to our log, actually say location, or not location, respawn. So this part of the map is actually considered the canteen. And I think I can just confirm that by I haven't played it religiously enough to know all the damn places yet. So you guys have to apologize, or I have to apologize for my not knowing there. But so from here to our and actually, so let's grab so inventory and player here. Let's go ahead and just do a we can test out two things while we're alrighty. So then if we go back to our presets, go back to area settings. So the challenge here is we need to figure out which one or which zone these are in, because the problem is that and it's going to be a problem regardless, is that anybody that swims over this area without the city being flooded is going to find all of these zombies are going to be dead. But that's probably why. So then if we go in here and say Ignite. The affected groups I created, so swamp. Basically, I'm going to just go ahead and kill all of this. And move on. So and let's go ahead and test and see if this is actually our level for area 7. Thanks for joining, T-Man. So right now I'm working on adding those custom hissing swamp biters along with some of the custom AI that I'm going to write here in a second. But it should flush out the swamp area a little bit better. Add it. I'm also testing. Let's see. I guess there's not a bag here, sadly. I love how there's a damn beehive next to the bed here. All right. So let's go. No, I don't think this is the right tool. Mainly because the bolters. That's why we're fixing this, is because they're super obnoxious. Um, let's see. So it's going to be, what's that, the bolter flooded area. Where do they show up? 8. They're turned off though. So it's got to be day exterior flooded in game. So it's got to be considered an in game area. There's also this infected population here. Yeah. So easy way to test for this. Well, I think probably the biggest thing is I don't want to replace every single area just yet, because I want to try to figure out specifically what is the yeah, so it's probably this one, biter wheat. Yeah, so it's probably this area. Go in here and do like this. Hey, Huey. How's it going? Uh, give commands to the zombies. That's an interesting one. AMK Shadow, you be nice about my Notepad++, all right? I've had several people jump on here and everybody doesn't like my Notepad++. The amount of tabs I have to have active to pull off this kind of coding, I like my Notepad++. Oh, man. Yeah, I think probably the easiest way to do that, I'm trying to think of like with the mechanics that are currently in the game. Um, yeah, yeah, I could do that. It would use a little bit of a different system, but I actually have figured out how to do so. A Pokemon mode will be coming some point, but it's kind of using the same concept or idea. Yeah, so these are all. Hey, Razor, welcome. So these are all. I mean, it's just interesting that that hasn't worked yet. That is definitely. I guess then there's no spawn point in the city itself. But this is the reason we're doing it right here. Is like every single one of those guys is an exploder, and I don't know about you guys, but no, it's not very fun. Let's see here. Let's just jump up here and see. So technically, those are all backpacks. So let me see if I say if I die there and then I hit respawn. Let's see if it logs the area that it's using there. Thanks, Razor. I appreciate the support, man. Stay tuned for lots of new updates coming. I promise. Let's see. Radio tower, mini safe zone. That's more accurate. So with the mini safe zone, I don't think it uses, but this is the R206. So if we go back over here to area settings and we look for R2, Let's see if we can do like a, no, there is no 0, 6. And those are the only R2s. So that doesn't exist. So what we're going to need to do is, I was trying to go one by one, but let's go ahead and step this up a little bit. That's actually what I'm working on now, Huey, is exactly that. Is trying to limit the amount of exploders to make these flooded areas more interesting. Okay, so that's all the different regions. So let's throw those back in and see if that actually did anything. Because if not, I'm going to be very confused. I know I've affected this area before because I spawned a whole bunch of goons and stuff like that in this location before, so I do know it works. It's just finding out which pool it's drawing from. Probably gonna wrap this one up a little bit earlier. Last time it was a 4-hour stream. Definitely not doing that today. Probably wrap this up here in a little bit and try to get another update out. Um, but I'm gonna enjoy the evening a little bit, relax. Can't believe we got work tomorrow. Holiday wasn't long enough. Walter. Someone I'm seeing. I mean, maybe there's some chance here that it's actually just affected the spawn tables from the holiday update. Maybe there's some chance in hell that they've updated or pushed an update specific to the spawn tables for this area. Actually haven't checked, but that would make sense with all these stupid holiday ones. Also, trying to think when the last time I saw one of my custom. Oh, I guess earlier because they're all custom. The ones I've been spawning. So my guess is that they're somehow affecting the spawn tables with this holiday update because those should be working. This one for here. I'm gonna leave that one right there for sure. so I can keep testing. But I've seen this before where one of the holiday events caused it to where I couldn't properly test. Let's do reddest red. Or is that what this is? All right, so this one's the reddest red. And I'm probably going to back that one up somewhere so that way I can continue to go back in here and test. And then just the other day, I was thinking about this. Here, go to accessories.
Is the dark door necessary? You promised. Guess I still make the fire. That like smell so bad. Now it's gone today. I remember cleaning out a furniture store last year. It was a big spooky fall. Hey, not funny. That was a
Like a UV because of the light, or are they doing it because? My guess is because it doesn't have any physics connected to it. How long does it last? I switched off of gamer. I switched off of trying to test for the new swamp zombies because I think the Christmas version might actually be limiting the spawn code. So I think there might actually be, because of something they're doing with the Christmas thing. I think it might actually be affecting it to where I can't change the spawns in that area, because I've gone through and I've replaced everything that should need to be replaced, and it's not fixed the issues. So maybe this thing's not going to die. It's an infinite flare. But I wanted to test for my new flares while I was in here. I'm going to make some light flares that are common so that you can use them to light up areas. Because the flashlight is garbage when you're going into different areas. So this will help provide some light in the metros and that kind of thing. I guess it really just doesn't die. So here, below, glow stick. Excellent. And we're gonna go back to inventory. I'm gonna switch gears really quickly just because I think they really have blocked my ability to actually add the swamp guys to the main world. And so I'm gonna actually back up a little bit, and if I really can't add those guys right now, then I'm gonna actually pivot a little bit so that I can get them added to the world to where they replace the exploders all the time. But then also there's some other things I want to get in before I call it here. Let's say a lot of changes here before I did this. Wait, where's the other one that I made then? Oh, mistake. Good. Up all these. Question mark? So I will put them out in a specific branch, and I guess I will come back to them. I don't know yet. If I can't test them in the real world, then I'm probably not going to release them until I can actually confirm that's all working. Glow stick. I'm gonna make some light objects really quick, and then I've got some rolling updates that I've been meaning to release since before the holiday that I'm probably gonna go ahead and push out tonight, and then I'll hold off on the swamp virals and biters until I'm able to better test. Just because I'm not sure I really want to run the risk of releasing something that I can't fully test in the game first. But with these events on, they're doing these replacer scripts that are just overwriting. And so if that's the case, then I'm not going to be able to actually confirm that's working until after they're done with their event. So we've got the glow stick, and then the glow stick is going to drop. Let's see here if anybody has if it's that easy, then I'm going to be mad that they didn't make this thing. We'll say glow stick 01. 02. It's going to have the physics of maybe that's the one I actually want. I immediately lost most of the viewers when I gave up on doing the new AI. I am going to try to get them in there. I just if I'm not able to actually get them tested, I guess I could just release them and stand by to see what people think after we get back or get done with this new event. Let's see. Yeah, you got a whole bunch of glow sticks hidden in this game. I wasn't even thinking, originally I was thinking flares. It's just so sad that they left things like this off because this is just way too damn easy. Barrel. Barrel. So, I don't think that's glow stick. And we got different types. But this is going to be part of, so I'm doing some work here to try to set up better flashlights in the game as well. Or I have been doing some work, and I've been trying to find, it kind of goes back to how I did the replacement code and everything for the um, glider. And so I will continue to look for the best way to do this, but with this, I just noticed that the lighting, spawn, I just noticed that the lighting in the game is pretty bare minimum, and there's a whole bunch of lighting systems in here, and so there's all sorts of things you could do here, and that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Guess I can go back to my other one. Must have gone over that limit of models somehow. Oh, when I switched. So let's say merge into, because that's going to have a bunch of stuff. Then now let's go in here, say delete. All right. Four, six. What are the chances we're going to find a light bulb icon?
Aiden? Finally. Been trying to reach you. You gotta help. They're gonna attack old Villador. And when they do, nobody there will survive. Nobody. The
It's
screws.
massive, I guess.
They host violent prize fights here in the city.
Because that lit up
But that's
like
just a cover.
the whole city.
What they're really up to is way more sinister.
Oh, I see.
You see, they plan to release
It's
the
like
chemical into
I'm
old
like
Villador.
accidentally throwing like an
Stimulant
entire
the
area.
already use. Turns them into
All right.
fierce, merciless motherfuckers.
Pins off limits.
But it would
Good to
kill
know.
regular folks. There's only one way to stop them, and that's to infiltrate them.
Also off
Qualify
limits.
for the tournament and get your ass
That's
inside
round.
Carnage
Oh.
Hall. I'll find you there.
It's not using the it's not using the physics when you throw it. It's interesting. So it needs to have the delay, I guess. for when it spawns. Let's try 8. Anything when you start creating like a Mario bridge up in the air. 7. I think 7 actually has a glow source. Yep. So 7 has an actual glow source. So far, eliminate. Six. Six. That's like a. It's not a glow stick. That's an actual light. Ceiling light. Okay. 5. On the back up here. They all do. That doesn't look like it has an effect though. Yeah. If it does, it's super weak. Okay, so let's say 4. Also, a little hanging light. Blue. I get it's creating source light. No, it is. So far 3 and 7. So 2. Yeah, 2 is good. Ooh, this has a real-time light attached to it, I'm guessing. Yep. This? Oh, they do. Okay. Multiple do. What is it? This one has a stronger. No, because this one's also got the light flare or lens flare. Huh. Okay. So it's 1, 3, and 7. 3 and 7. These. Three. And then, what is it? Spawn delay, explode delay. The issue is it needs to be, say, UV there. What is the one that I created for the summon? Dog's about to lose her mind. All right, so for this one, could be a decoy, I guess. But no, the problem was is that this one didn't use a prefab draw. And then the spawn test. What do we got here? Physics. So it's going to be these ones at the bottom here, I think. So it's basically doing like, once it hits the speed threshold, then it'll spawn it. So I think by doing this, here, and we're actually going to say, so we have cyan, A, cyan, and then E. 2. Be 1. Then this be and go back to here, delete all those, and we should be good. Launch. So let's see here. Additionally, I wanted to see, for shits and giggles, if we wanted to try to do a mod for Christmas, just to kind of tease Techland a little bit. Should do tree. think it's under fig. But then if we go here, say close fix, let's test these really quick.
Aiden? Finally. Been trying to reach you.
Interesting.
You gotta help. They're gonna attack old Villador. And when they do, nobody there will survive. Nobody. This group, they hold
Blows.
violent prize fights here in the city.
What do you
But that's
do?
just a cover. What they're
That
really
makes
up to
sense
is
now
way
why
more sinister.
there's the weird ass glows in the distance.
They plan to release
It's
a
because they've
chemical
got
into
some
old
weird
Villador.
ass.
It's a stimulant that fighters already use. Turns them into fearless,
That's a better
merciless
one, minus the
fuckers.
green haze they have on there.
There's only one way to stop them, and that's to
There we go.
infiltrate them.
Okay, so I think one's a no-go, and if anything, I should fix the issue with one, so that way one can actually look normal in the game. I guess whatever hazy glow that is in general needs to be fixed. That is not what glow sticks should do. Hard to tell. Is one worse? About the same. It's like the way that it like grabs the light beams from the moon in the front. Yeah, so far one's my least favorite. And doesn't actually really look like it lands on the ground. All of them don't. It's got some like thing in the prefab. So, real time lights. All right, let's see if so that's what 3. Does this one have a real time light? Nope. Okay, 3 so far. Yeah, this one's just not good at all, really. So 3 wins. Low stick competition. There's just something with the they've got like an effect or something. Releases some type of like glowy, and it's whatever's doing that, where you can see it all the way across the map like that. I mean, it's fine for the most part, but like, look at that shit. And it's there. All right, so let's go off 3 for a second and see if we can turn 3 into something useful before we call it here. All right, so going down to 3. This, thankfully, I'm going to want to go in here and actually edit some of this. And then also, I guess that's the whole thing, right? Is that if that has real time light, then we just say flashlight. And it's the one I've been trying to put on people. And then I guess this is the actual player flashlight, right? You. So we need to create a new one. So we're going to go into prefabs here, and we're going to say flow stick, and we'll say 3, and then we're going to say flow stick 0, 1. Down here to the translate section and change this to, so here's the emissive value. We up the emissive and we up the intensity a little bit here and say like, we up this to like 12. And then for this, we'll keep this lower. And we're going to get rid of this completely. Which, as long as nothing is referencing this. Let's go. Zero that out. Zero that out. Then we go back to inventory. Flow stick 1 is now going to spawn this. And then for cyan, they're actually calling on a lamp setting, which is great for me because that basically means to make this both work and have a different color, all I have to do is take and copy over this as well. So I'm guessing one of these has color. No? Should color. Down here, it has the concept of color. And then the other day, I found this color PDF that we were using. So essentially, if we want to come in here and find this, would be all the way. We should go ahead and try that. Be 0, 0. Yeah. Flow stick 3 goes away. And in prototypes, run a scratch, close stick 3. Should be good. And while that loads, with the flashlight, is it doing any form of environmental probe? It's not. So potentially using the information from here, we could actually make it impact the environment a little bit, which I think would include shadows.
Aiden, finally.
Did not get
Been trying
rid
to reach you.
of.
You gotta help. They're gonna attack old Villador. And when they do, nobody there will survive. Nobody.
How did they not get rid of the
This
ground
group,
thing?
they host violent prize fights here in the city. But that's just a cover. What they're really up to is way more sinister. You see, they plan to release a chemical into old Villador. It's a stimulant their fighters already use. Turns them into fearless, merciless motherfuckers. But it would kill regular folks. There's only one way to stop them. And
This
that's to
was
infiltrate
working
them.
a second ago. Let's see
You wanna
here.
fight for the tournament? Get your ass inside Carnage Hall. I'll
Huh.
find you there.
So maybe it was one of the others that was actually casting the shadow. Interesting. And then the glow stick itself has that stupid thing around it. That. So it doesn't look like we can actually use the glow stick. Was that a torch? What was that? Glow stick. And that's an actual flare. Light color worked. Interesting. So it was three. It was three that did it. So it has to be the actual what I removed spot shadow. So it's this. I removed the wrong part. The mesh itself is what has that terrible. So the mesh itself is what has the actual color. Or not yeah, that color dot that it's adding. Let's see. So if we go here, it's like I also forgot to update that. And then update that. And then let's go in here and boost this up a little bit. I can't believe the mesh itself has that nasty thing. There's got to be another glow stick that somebody used for something else. Um, Because there's the like ones on people's armor, but I guess that really doesn't. Why would they put that nasty? Man, no way to change the material. Calling this, so it's saying lamp, and then none of these are using a mesh. So the next place to go is the lamp free. The glow stick free. So you can actually just use a skin name, which is nice. And then for so this is actually going to be under lights light pre, and then under here they've got glow. No, they don't. Got lamp. It's not lights. It's lamp. Lamp dot three. And here they then have glow stick. That's a shame that they would put that stupid ground thing on there. It's just like a PNG texture that they put on that mesh. And I can't believe they've done that. Okay. So the next thing to try, I guess, is in the inventory. If we go here, say glow stick, and then we go back to glow stick here, they actually have these different skins. What was that other one? It wasn't stick. The no, next one I did green, and then they had this dark place chemicals. That was for glow stick A, which I don't think. I think I'm using C, and C doesn't have anything here. I guess technically that's just a color, though. Yeah, it's just setting a color, so that's not super useful. So one of the things we could do here, though, is now that I know that the flashlight or the flare is just casting a shadow light, we can technically go here and put the flashlight free under a component. I'm going to need to grab it out of there. So say prefabs, flashlight. I know that a lot of people have actually requested this for a while. Flashlight prefab. here. There, and need to change the. I need to change it to where it's in that bound setup. Say for any of these prefab. Yep. So we say here. Steal this. Then the thick is then going to be. No, it needs to have the preset names. So if we go in here and say preset name, or actually let's just do it like this. And let's find out how they're calling that. So we'll go. Spotlight, perfect. And we'll just take that. Thank you. And then this is the glow stick. Go back under flashlight. And we paste that. And then we go 552. Prefab name. Shadow. Then, as far as this goes, I'm not really sure, to be honest. Yeah, it's not going to be doing all that nonsense. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we're going to give it a shot. Okay. And so what we're testing for on the glow sticks is also, do we have our shadow back, which we should. And then I probably need to do an offset for the spawn so that it shows up on the ground. All right, well, I said I was going to keep it to 2 hours, and I did not. We're at 3 now, so I'm going to probably go ahead and call it right about here after I test this.
gotta help. They're going to attack old Villador. And when they do, nobody there will survive. Nobody. This group, they host violent prize fights here in the city. But that's just a cover. What they're really up to is way more sinister. You see, they plan to release a chemical into old Villador. It's a stimulant their fighters already use. Turns them into fearless, merciless motherfuckers. But it would kill regular folks. There's only one way to stop them, and that's to infiltrate them. Qualify for the tournament and get your ass inside Carnage Hall. I'll find you there.
I think that's working. I'm gonna have to do a comparison to see the difference there, but I don't remember that ever casting a shadow at all. So the fact that getting up close like that causes the shadow to affect it all, I think the difference is that the distance is not right. Look at that haze, man. There's got to be a way to turn that down, because that's what's bugging me. Is that like can't have that shit all over the place. Now, that is bright as shit, so that worked. Very bright glow sticks. And then I think, sadly, maybe if I can turn it off altogether, maybe if there's a glow stick off that I can find, then when you throw it, it's off and then it gets turned on. That is working, and shadows are being cast by this, I think. So damn bright. Yes, it is. So shadows are being cast by that. So next step is to go make some adjustments here. So let's try making this like 12 and just see what we get. And then because we should be able to determine pretty quick if that's working or not, if we can just determine that it's actually shining. For this, for the actual mesh, which is going to be this one, let's offset that by like 1, I guess, to start with for that one. And then for this one, let's do it by 0.5, see which one we like best. And then here to here, clearly the emissive, I don't think it's the emissive as much as it's everything else, but let's drop that a little bit and up this. And then for the light being off, so for this, let's drop this down to 1. Same with this. Or actually, for this, let's go. This is an Omni light that is scaled up massive. So maybe for this one, which is glow stick 1, let's drop this down to normal scale, like that, and then set that to like 8. And let's see what that does compared to this one, which is pretty large. And on this one, let's actually drop this second light down to 1. And so we've upped our shadow. 1, it's 2, so let's drop that back down to 1. And let's try this out. I mean, I guess my thing is that if that is truly set at that scale, then 2 was pretty damn strong for the intensity. So my guess is that with this one, it's not an omni light. So I think the issue is that it's pointing the wrong direction. I think is actually the bigger issue. So with this one, what is the rotation here? Maybe let's take the rotation. Let's take that. Can't apply that. So it's going to be 155. Six. Negative 66. And let's see. Okay, let me think here. Actually, it should be like 0, 0, and then spacing, we want it to face towards player. Towards the player. So X, Z. So I guess it's going to be 90. Just use Unity to confirm something really quick. I'm gonna guess I'll go ahead and film.
Aiden? Finally. Been trying to reach you. You gotta help. They're gonna attack old Villador. And when they do,
It's like
nobody there will survive. Nobody. This group, they host violent prize fights
that's
here in the
technically
city.
working.
But that's just a cover.
I want to test and see if that did work before, because now it's hard to determine
You see,
whether that's
they
working or
plan to
not.
release a chemical into old Villador. It's a stimulant their fighters already use. Turns them into fearless, merciless motherfuckers. But it would kill regular folks.
Alright, so let's say glow stick 1.
There's only one way to stop them, and that's to infiltrate them.
For the
Qualify for the
4, so
tournament
glow
and get
stick
your
1 is
pin inside
offset by
Carnage
too
Hall.
much.
I'll find
I'm
you
pretty
there.
sure this one is offset by even more. Whoa. Yes, definitely offset by too much on both of them, I guess. Then daylight. Oh, question. Does that glow travel? Because I think we reduced the glow in 1. Nope. Oh, wow. All right. Well, I can't actually believe that. Okay. Yeah, it still has that like bullshit haze. Weird. Did it do it this one? Yes. Even before it spawns that. Okay. So if we take an object and we say capsule, and we want this zeroed out, and we want to face it towards the player. I guess it depends on which way we're facing. But let's take a camera, and the camera is going to be zeroed out. So we do have a camera here at 0, 0, 0. And we want to rotate this to face forward for the player. Now, I guess in order to be able to determine what's forward and back, because it's a symmetrical object, let's throw this at the top. That's our camera. And so we want to rotate that 90 degrees. So we want to actually go positive 90 to face it forward. Now that's assuming that the object that we're facing actually works like that. So let's go ahead and close that. So actually be 90. Leave that at 12. And then for the glow sticks, whatever I have boosted here has like really worked. So all of this down to where I'm gonna actually go like this. Let's drop this one down even smaller. Now this is spotlight, so it's got to be this big one, which I have not dropped down yet. So if we go and we say and for the other one, let's actually just get rid of this altogether. We'll see what happens. Now for the offset, that clearly didn't work. So one, we're going to drop a little bit. This one we're going to drop by 0.2. We'll see how that does. And let's just try this out really quick. So then for we probably need to search under, well, first let's go over here and just search high and low for glow stick in general. And let's just see what we get showing up.
Aiden,
It's technically casting a shadow right
trying
there.
to reach you. You gotta
Like,
help.
I see a
They're gonna
shadow.
attack Old Villador. And when they do, nobody there will survive. Nobody. This group, they host violent prize fights here in the city. But that's just a cover. What they're really up to is way more sinister.
Okay.
You see, they plan to release a chemical into Old
Hey.
Villador. It's a stimulant
So it creates like a shadow blur around the corner there.
But it would kill regular folks. There's only one
And
way
again, it's hard to tell whether or not that is working as expected or not. But that is definitely casting a shadow. It's just kind of, now we need to determine if it was already doing that or if I actually did that. Huh. So if it really is that subtle. All right. That got us back in the right range. Shadow is working. And I don't see weird haze anymore. From that, so this way and just do like that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, still got a little bit there. This one, I think, is the one I removed it completely. That's so weird. Because it, like, that kicked in from the start. So it's like, like it kicked in from this point. Which, to my knowledge, it's not actually. I mean, unless that knowledge is tied to the mesh itself, which I guess it may be. Weird. But as far as that spot goes, you can see it drastically reduced the size of the actual flow outside of the emissive, which the emissive is actually what's on the stupid thing. So what if we go in here and set this to 0? Because whatever that emissive is, it's actually causing it to hit that PNG as well. So it looks like, I mean, as far as like that goes, there's no way it's like transferring that data. But like you can see here, that it's like influencing the world there. It hangs around. Huh. Bizarre. That one cast the full world. And then I think I determined that this one did as well. So, huh. I wonder if it's some type of like trace that's occurring with the actual emissive coming off the object. But we do have shadow casting a little bit. It's more of like a ambient occlusion casting. But if we go in here and I guess what we'll do first is let's back this up. So let's say -1 file, flashlight, and then go back to these. And so we determined that this prefab. That's the way to go. And then let's turn this emissive off on both of them really quickly. And then for the actual glow stick here, I wonder if we can say, let's see, skin. Go back to this. So for that to work, so like with the flashlight, so keep an editor, it's not actually receiving this clipping logic. So it doesn't actually have the clipping logic. And so my guess is in order to get this working, like here we have this, I don't know why I didn't find this one. This anymore? So like import generic lamp preset. Strange so many of those are set up like that. So adding that clipping, they only needed to add that. So if that's the case, then we should be able to go back to the light. Let's delete it down. Then when we go back up to the logic section, here before it gets to the end, we'll do the components that this is in. This is in virtual fields. Interface. This is in runtime data. Here. So in this section, before we get to And then where it's referencing 68. So it's referencing the actual lights. 68, 57. It's referencing omni lights. 80. So it's actually listing out the different lights that it's affecting. So any light source will need to be added to there. So if we go down here, this is the logic. Use OmniLight. Here's an actual OmniLight, so we could say like X1 0.2, so it's got a constraint is fixed. So it has 11. So up here we could say 11. This is actually going to work. We have 11. We have a spotlight, which is 9. Spotlight logic. So we have 11. We have 9. 9. Actually, I'm going to throw it back in there. That's one more time because once again, we're getting back up there towards 4 hours again. So getting pulled into this. Let's see if this flashlight works.
Aiden, finally.
So I wonder if that's like a cheap, like a cheap shadow cast that they have set up.
but
It's like
nobody will survive. Nobody.
I highly doubt I've done that.
They hold violent prize fights here in the city, but that's just a cover. What they're really up to is way more sinister.
Yeah, it's like an
See,
aura.
they plan to release a chemical into old Villador. It's a stimulant their fighters already use. Turns them into fearless, merciless motherfuckers. But it would kill regular folks. There's only one way to stop them, and that's to infiltrate them. Qualify for the tournament and get your ass inside Carnage Hall. I'll find you there.
That takes care of it on the ground, which is the wrong place. So the default needs to be lowered to where the default glow is not as high. And that's still so bizarre. Like, I don't know why they set it up like that, but I do see where, like, looking across the city where they're using that type of system. So, I mean, at least I see what they're doing, but at the same time, it's like, so that one's almost there. And that's almost the perfect amount right there. Now, does that do the glow crap? Yeah, it does. It leaves like a trail kind of shit. So there's no way to set this other than the skin. So what I could do is I could create a skin. I would have to. I'd have to go under the pre. I'd have to go to presets, glow stick, and then under presets, I would have to create. And I guess the question is I guess it's using this one, or am I using C? And I kind of forget. Where does it determine which one it uses? If you're using a mesh, I guess it's already found if it's using a mesh. So like glow stick A would use this. So I guess the way to test is in here you would use something like this. So you would say like that, and that should determine whether or not we can change it. Now, as far as that goes, what we would do, I think here is go to presets, and under presets, we would then copy over glow stick A, and then we would create one called, and no, I had that wrong. It would actually be, skin name would be blue. But what we would do is we would create one that says off. And then here, we would go in here and say, we would go for each one of these. say. And then as far as the skin name goes, that's, I guess, where it's pointing to here. Then it's saying AC. I don't think so, though. Skin name. You said blue. No, because I think what it is that the prefab calls green or blue, and then the skin name is this. So technically, here we would call this off, and then this would then become off, and this would technically, if we wanted to test this out, we could do something like this to determine if that would change the color to yellow. Yeah, because they're calling the preset name, and then they're saying the skin name. But as far as that goes for like a mesh, you don't have much option for a mesh. So I'll give this a shot really quick, and then let's destroy or delete or stash. Two. Let's stash that, and I'm going to take one more look here, and we're going to see if that orb-like glow stayed for the flashlight to determine whether or not anything is actually happening with the flashlight. And then with glow stick 1, we actually want to go on here and say, because 2 was pretty much perfect as far as this goes, minus the fact that the intensity was now a bit low. I think we could probably go in here and say, that's big. And so I think I'm pretty much satisfied that that's not actually causing the effect to occur. I think it really is some type of like situation where it's sticking based on when you throw it. I don't understand that how that would be happening, but set this up to where and so I guess the big was actually also lighting up the actual glow stick itself. So we need to go in here and copy the color. That. And then we'll keep that, PCID 2. So yeah, something like that. Let's try it. So this one should have no flashlight. So we can compare that glow. And then it should have a couple of these things fixed on the glow sticks. And hopefully it will actually use that skin off. But let's find out. here. Yeah, it is using that or that
Been trying to reach you.
that glow
You
effect.
gotta
So
help
that
them.
is
They're gonna
up.
attack old Villador.
So
If
that
they do,
worked. So it is
nobody
using
there will
yellow.
survive. Nobody.
So
This group, they host violent prize fights here in the city. But that's just a
technically
cover. What they're really up to is way more sinister. You see, they plan to release a chemical
pretty
into
good.
old Villador. It's a stimulant the
Matrix
fighters already
needs
use. Turns
to be
defectors
lowered
into
a little
fierce,
bit. So
merciless
2 needs to go
motherfuckers.
down.
But it would kill regular folks.
So
There's only one
while
way to stop
here,
them, and that's to infiltrate them.
well, we
Qualify
know
for the
that didn't work
tournament and
last
get your
time. So
ass
let's do
inside
something like
Carnage Hall.
that.
I'll find you there.
And then same for here. So let's go on like that. So if we can just get, I mean, it's facing the wrong direction too. So more than likely what I'm gonna have to do is just switch back. So does that cause, look at that. That causes the lingering like yellow glow. Does it disappear with time? Can you see it if you go to photo mode? Look at that. It's creating like a glow trail. Wow. So I think beyond the height, I think probably the last thing is to get the color about the same. The shame about the off skin, but obviously that's not going to cut it. So I think last thing here is probably to go in here and sadly, is on these things is to grab glow stick off. Oh, wow, that's what I already had. So is to go to UV flare. And then say flare off is to, for now, copy these things over. And again, sadly, I feel like very close, but and then for the different ones, we'll go in here and say glow stick 2 is the preferred one. So what I'm going to do is probably copy everything down from components here down to here. And then we're going to go in and probably that. And then this one will probably boost up a little bit more. Pause on this really quick.
trying to reach you. You gotta help. They're gonna attack old Villador. And when they do, nobody there will survive. Nobody. This group, they host violent prize fights here in the city. But that's just a cover. What they're really up to is way more sinister.
Okay, so wrapping up here,
They
it
plan to
looks
release a
like
chemical into old Villador. It's a stimulant they're
because
fighting
I
over and
changed it
over
to the
again.
UV flares, which definitely don't cause that issue. It does look like it's doing the.
There's only one way to stop them, and that's to infiltrate them.
It's lower on the ground, so because of that, it's kind of dependent on the collision of whatever object you're throwing. Which again, I hate that it's a damn UV flare. Like there's gotta be something else. It's hard to believe that that one. I mean, potentially there is like a light something. I think probably the other one that I saw was the one that was the actual ceiling light, and then there is the one that was down for the flare. So there is like the flare one, flare mesh, flares. So potentially I could throw like a flare mesh. Who knows if it actually will go on the ground proper here. Flare. There's a flashlight flare. Here's a prop. So I think between the two, let's just set these up and maybe one of these will be better. I doubt it, but let's just try it real quick and then call this. All the way up to 4 hours. Another half day of work, y'all. So before we release this update, there's also the specific to this. We have the actual volatiles. In order to get these in the world, I need to, or in order to fully deploy the different chemical and venom ones, then I need to add those. Up, help me. All right. Fine. No texture. Oh, that's the actual like. Well, I think that was more like a lens flare.
When they do, nobody
And
there will
then.
survive. Nobody.
Oh, hey.
This group,
Actually,
they host violent prize fights here in the city. But
that's
that's
not
just a
bad.
cover. what they're really up to is way more sinister. You see, they plan to release a chemical into old Villador. It's a stimulant.
All right, so we're just gonna do glow stick 1, which is the prop flare, and then I need to adjust the height based on this, which means that the height of the actual offset needs to change. So we'll actually go back to 0, 0. Here, 0, 0. And so we'll test those, and then also I need to do some last minute updates. So I'm gonna actually call it here and take a break for a second, and then I'm gonna finish up with some of this. There will be a new update coming. So just to cap off what got done today. So 25 new common zombies with like a swamp look. I can't actually get them in the world because of the event right now, the Christmas event. So we'll have to wait for that to finish before I can actually test those. Then we have the actual flashlight. So I tried to update the real-time shadows in that. It looks like they are using a system for like an effect, but I'm not sure it's very good. And then there is the actual glow sticks I've added. So there's a whole bunch of lighting that I'll be adding to the game as well. And so that's meant to help you create pathways across the city rooftops, and also to light up dark places and that kind of thing in your travels. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up here on the stream, and I look forward to your guys' feedback and talking to you guys on the Discord. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing to me on YouTube. I appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you guys